All right, man, we are back with another episode of the Music Retail Show. And, man, we got Mike McAfee from Maxwell's House of Music. Man, hey, how are you doing, man?
I'm incredible. Thanks for letting me be on this today.
Yeah, I have actually wanted you to be on this show for a long time. We had Mark on a couple times in the past, but man, I just felt like you would be a perfect match because, man, you've been in the industry for years and have been involved to some level, of pretty high level, in my opinion. And, man, I think your opinion is worth a lot. So,
well, thanks. I tried to watch some of the Mark ones, and I had to give up after about 2 hours.
What's funny is it probably feels like those interviews are like 2 hours long.
Yeah,
Mark,
they're
I hope
quick.
you're listening to this.
He's not listening. If
not
he's not on it, he's not watching.
That's right. Is he even up right now? I don't even know.
What time right now, he's relating the Mark Maxwell story to a local newspaper. So someone's going to learn the history of Mark Maxwell and all that he is.
Oh, man. Well, Mike, man, hey, give me a little bit of background on just who you are, where you come from, and so people can obviously just get to know you a little bit.
So I live in Jeffersonville, Indiana, and I've worked in the Louisville area in music for a little over 30 years. I ran Willis Music in Louisville for 25 years, and I loved it. Learned a lot of things that I liked and didn't like about the business. And after 25 years, I stepped away from it actually and did something else. I was kind of over the whole thing and went to work somewhere else, worked in a whole other career field. And about 6 years ago, about 5 years ago, a Fender rep called me and wanted me to go work for another dealer. And it didn't work out. But then the next year, Mark called me and said, do you want to come try to do this? And this meant the store we're at now. And we had actually tried to open it together 22, 23, whatever, 26 years ago or something.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And in the end, it didn't work out for both of us the way we needed it to. So I stayed where I was and he opened this up. And it wasn't, this is an old movie theater. So it's sizable. And all of it wasn't being utilized. And so when he called me, about doing it this time, I said I would be very interested, but we'd have to do the whole thing. It's got to be the whole theater. It's got to be the real deal. It has to be the best music store anyone's ever walked into before.
Yeah.
No one from our area has ever walked into a store and seen this, and they're going to have to go, oh my gosh. And so that's what we did. And everyone who was here came up with ideas, and you've seen it, so it's kind of a quirky thing, but it's got a lot of personality, and it's very, very visual, and it's very spacious. And a lot of times, those of us who work in music stores don't always have the advantage of space. So things get a little tight, and we don't have all the opportunities to design and make it as much like the team as maybe we might.
Yeah.
And this is one of those occasions where we did.
Yeah.
So it's been amazing. It's just an incredible store.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't realize you and Mark knew each other 23, 25 years ago. So.
Yeah, I've known Mark for over 30 years.
Have you really? Man.
Yeah, I used to walk into Dad's store, Mom's, and Mark was exactly the same then as he is now, because Mark's dad is that way. It's like the bumblebee thing, where it's, hey, don't leave, and then he walks off, and you're going, okay, and you're standing around going, he said don't leave. I know he's gonna come back.
What time is it here? Yeah.
And that's exactly how it still is. So it took me a little while to realize, okay, I need to go in there, and maybe I'll talk to his brother. And so it was fine. So, but we've known each other since we were, young. And my very first job, I made water beds. I made furniture right out of high school. I went to work, and it was miserable. You can't even imagine. We got shut down by OSHA so many times for all these. And I called him one day on my lunch break, and I was like, dude, why don't you hire me?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking I'd be great. I had hair down to my ass, and I played guitar, and everything was just great about me. And he's like, I can't hire anybody, man. I think we're the same age. His dad had no interest in me because I was in the family. He's running his family to death. So, but we've known each other forever, since high school.
Mm-hmm. Man, that's cool. And actually, and we can talk about this a little bit later, but Maxwell's House of Music and Mom's Music have kind of joined forces too, huh? Yeah.
So Mark owns this store with Jeff McNichol, and they're equal partners. And a couple months, I guess March of last year, Jeff purchased Mom's outright.
Yeah.
And so it is a very nice relationship between the two stores, and it's able to let us serve two very different communities as a really good team.
Mm-hmm.
And Mom's is it's in an old tumbleweed, so it's also a sizable location that's a little unusual in its layout.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you walk into either of our stores, you're getting a slightly different experience than you're used to if you walk into the big box situations.
Yeah. And you see that as an advantage.
Huge, because I go grocery shopping at Walmart because I save a fortune over Kroger.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't particularly love Walmart, but I got to do what's best for me.
Yeah.
But Walmart is pretty unexciting to walk into.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of shelves, and okay, if I want slat wall, I reach for on the minute. And both of our stores they're just not. That's great. That's cool. A new guitar or what? That's what I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I've never been in the Mom's music. I've never been in that store. Been in your store, man, and the personality is just it's insane. I mean, not just the rooms, but the people too. I mean, when you go there, you're going to become part of the experience.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think that one of the things I learned from being at Willis was corporations have a vision, and you have to become that vision. Mm-hmm. And that's not a bad thing, but it definitely doesn't utilize the team of people you hire to the best level always, because if I'm a certain personality type and you're a certain personality type, and we're both trying to conform to what somebody wants us to be to represent the brand that we're working for, maybe we're not reaching the level of success we could be, or having the positive impact on the clientele we could.
Yeah.
And it's all about the end users. Mm-hmm. If somebody comes in and they think I'm insane, I got no problem saying, let me introduce you to Bert, and stepping away.
But
it's
Bert's
all
insane.
about well, yeah, we're like the island of misfit toys over here.
That's right. It's
any insanity you need.
Yeah, that's right. It's a beautiful thing. But you know what? That led to a lot of creative ideas. I know 2020 was a tough year for everybody. Purely, people that even did well, were honest and said, yeah, we had to figure out how to adapt. So how did you guys adapt in 2020?
So 2020 was our best year ever by miles.
Yes.
And I feel bad saying that because I know so many people went through so many challenges, but when it looked like everything was going to turn for the worst, we sat down and we have a weekly meeting every week where all of us get together and go over what we're doing, what we need to do, etc. And it became, we have to be prepared for this. If things go sideways, how do we stay open? How do we make it? How do we do this? So we set up every teacher and every student. We built a Zoom and FaceTime account for them without them even knowing it. And we got all the teachers educated on how to use it and make it happen. And then when things changed, it was strictly a phone call. Hey, this is Bob. We're going to let you know that we're switching to Zoom. Your sign-on is this, and here's your password. Your lesson's at the same time with the same person. Everything's the same. You're just staying home where it's safe right now, and you don't have to worry about it.
Dude, that's
and
great.
we lost 80 students out of 400 something. And I mean, it was incredible. And so that was huge. Then we had to figure out how to run a business because they didn't want us to be open per se. But you can't run a business if you're not open. So we stayed. We had the door locked, but we were open for curbside and we did deliveries. We were on social media literally every 2 hours because since we weren't able to physically see our customers like we're used to, we had to make sure they knew that we had all this cool gear and we were still here for them and they could call us. And it really kind of looked like there was no change. Yeah. So if you were watching social media, which everybody was, every couple of hours you saw us goofing off or showing gear or doing our Gear 30s, and it was always something. And that led to massive business. We couldn't even, we were working less hours during the day. We were open less hours, as a crew of people. We were here less, but we were doing way more business than we had normally done.
Man, that's a great success story. I mean, obviously there's probably a little persistence. I mean, even a big social media push, you probably had to stick with it to kind of get a response and get people to be trained to kind of show up at the same time all the time.
Absolutely. So, the first thing I had to do as a buyer was, what can I get? Because obviously once everything shuts down here, it's going to shut down everywhere, and we're going to have an inventory problem. And so I started finding out what was in stock at all of my vendors, and I started buying, you guys included. And so we were going into this with a really strong inventory.
Yeah.
And a lot of our friends who have stores here in this area, they were not. They didn't have a strong inventory, and they wound up being closed for 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks. And that's devastating, of course. But we never really ran out of anything because I had bought so much stuff. And if, vendor A didn't have it, I would find a new vendor that did have it in stock, and I'd buy it. And so we had this incredible supply of goods that we never had any issues about keeping up.
Yeah. And that's actually, man, that's a great point that I think a lot of people need to realize is that, when things dip down, it's a great opportunity to, it sounds vicious, but to steal market share. You bought stuff, so you had things to sell. Most people want to pull back and go, hey, how can I be safe? How can I make sure everything's okay? But you saw
and that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, hit the gas pedal and steam forward.
Yeah, because the whole world was living on their phone. So everyone's on their phone 24/7. And, I don't want to be on my phone ever. It's the last thing I want to look at. But even someone who's on their phone all the time, now that's all they have.
Yeah.
So we were like, how do we stay top of mind? So every 2 hours we were pitching it on all social media platforms. And we kept saying, instead of staring at your phone, why don't you pick up an instrument? We can do virtual lessons right now with you.
Yeah.
You can play everything, and it worked great. We signed up so many students. So as it dragged on, of course, we had drop-offs and add-ons all through it.
Sure.
But we never reached a level of, oh, my gosh, what are we doing? Yeah. Our student level stayed great. We added teachers. We still keep, we have in-store classes now, but we still have a ton of people who are doing online.
Yeah.
It's just added into our mix because why not?
Yeah.
It's easy.
Absolutely.
These teachers in the room, and like I'm in a lesson studio right now, and if they don't have a 3 o'clock lesson in person, they may have it on FaceTime, and so they're doing the lesson like that, and it's great. The more we can serve, the better it's going to be for us and for the community that we're trying to become a part of.
Yeah, man, this is a huge success story for adapting in a year that nobody knew what was actually going to happen. But man, the one thing that stood out to me the most, because I saw it, I looked at it, I watched it, Gear 30, man. Tell me about Gear 30 and the fun that you guys have.
So Gear 30 started out as, everyone's on social media trying to sell something. And that's kind of a drag because I want to watch Nathan do something, or hear Nathan be whoever he is. I don't want Nathan to go, man, you've got to buy this new whatever. It's the Vegemite, whatever. And, we were like, so it kind of bums me out because all these big box websites, they have these crazy deals of the day or something, whatever. And it's like, no vendors police any of this stuff. And if you do, it's all, don't do that again. You're below map. Yeah. And so we're like, so how do we do this? And so we're like, hey, we're going to do it live on the air, like the old horrible 60s game shows and stuff, and we'll do it every day. So
hey.
Every day at about 1:30, I'll get up there with some piece of gear, and I'll make fun of whoever's holding the cameras, and I'll make fun of me, and I'll drag whoever's in the room into it, and we laugh and joke and are silly. And I give someone a deal on an instrument of some kind. And it may be a great discount, and it may be a terrible discount, and we'll throw in some shirts or strings or something, but it's always something. And initially, it was just kind of this weird thing. People were like, what is this?
Yeah.
But once COVID hit, then all of a sudden, we would do the Gear 30, and the phone would ring, and it would be, hey, I want to buy that deal if you still have it. And 3 or 4 times a week, we sold the Gear 30 deal in minutes. So some days we do 2 and 3 Gear 30s because people are watching it. And so now we do it every day. There's been a few stores that have liberated the idea. A few have even totally stolen the name.
Oh,
and,
really?
Oh, yeah. And it's all good. I'll usually reach out and go, hey, what are you doing there? Maybe you ought to call this something else, you know?
Here's my cease and desist letter from my lawyer. No.
yeah, you know, but whatever. But it's all good. And the best part is they're all doing it for the same reason.
Sure.
They're doing it because it gets to show them off as a personality in that store versus here I am, salesperson A. In a store. And that is going to be so much better for building a relationship than anything. Because if you watch me every day on Gear 30, you know that I love Gretsch and I wear Crocs and I have terrible knees and I like the Seahawks. I mean, you know all this stuff because either wear it or talk about it or get made fun of it. And that's great. Yeah. And so, you know, if I'm going through Chick-fil-A to get a Coke and the guy who takes my money goes, man, what about the Seahawks? And I'm going, what are you even talking about? Oh, I watch Gear 30.
Yeah.
Serious. That's great.
But that's what I'm talking about. It's like you guys have done something and you stuck with it and there was some consistency. And I see the Gear 30 as more of like a show that's on 130 every day. Exactly. It's a show. Yeah. You can tune in and you can engage.
And this show it's kind of the same thing, only we're every day. Every day we're this terrible basement game show that's on for about 10 or 12 minutes, and then it's done. And then it's on the next day. And it's a riot. It's so much fun. And you know, one of the guys in the store especially, I am just brutal to him. And we stuck a picture of him on a cutout of Joe Jonas, and we carry him around. And poor Brooks is just brutalized in these shows, and he takes it like a champ. Yeah. But now you got customers who call him all these horrible nicknames I give him, and even he has to laugh because people know who he is, and that's just it's fun. So people are a part of the store when they're a part of that, and the more you feel like you're a part of us, the more you're going to come in. Yeah, because it's a place where you're welcome. It's the Cheers attitude. Yeah, you know. Everyone goes to Cheers and they sit at the counter and they'll buy a drink, but they're there for a couple of hours. Sometimes they'll buy a lot. Yeah. We want you to come in and hang out because you're probably going to buy something. We got a lot of great stuff.
No, absolutely. And that's the point. You guys are having fun. And don't be surprised if Dancing with the Stars contacts you sometime for a future season. So
with these knees, I won't be doing anything like
That's right.
Although we do have a skateboard here. I was going to skateboard in one of them, and Bert talked me out of it.
Did he really?
He was like, walk. Please don't skateboard.
Yeah, he's like, the hospital's too far of a drive from here.
That's true.
Yeah, very true. But so how did that morph into? I mean, 2020 was the best year that you guys ever had, and you know, I've heard stories, talked to a lot of people. You guys have adapted, and you guys adapted well. So, what lessons of this are you going to take into 2021? You know, we're hopefully going to be moving into an era where COVID-19 is somehow going to be dealt with. We all have aspirations that that's going to happen, but how's 2021 going to change how you do business?
So one of the things we did was, after the success of the lesson situation, it became pretty clear that we had Bob, who is here, kind of running the lessons. But Bob's also a previous employee of mine who's a great salesperson, and I want him selling me. And so he was kind of getting tugged both ways, and it became clear that in order to maintain the lessons, do them even better, we needed more attention. So we brought Rachel into that mix, and she runs it now phenomenally, and to the point that we've actually added a new lesson scheduler system to what we're doing, which makes it even easier. So now our billing, scheduling, maintaining, contacting has improved immensely. If someone has a need, it gets addressed very quickly. If someone leaves taking lessons, we do an after interview. So that exit is documented. We know why they left. Was it something we did, something a teacher did? Is it something else? And all that information helps us streamline our program. So that's one thing. Another thing we learned and we'll take into this year in a big way is financing. Most stores like ours, we do financing. And this in 2020, we did financing to a new level in that we actually redesigned all of our price tags. I made a new tag that had room for the description and the price on it, but at the bottom it had or blank dollars a month, and I filled that in. And the finance company that we normally deal with worked us out a deal where we have a 36-month option at a lower interest rate, and it's just a fixed payment. And that was huge all year for us. But then the last 3 months of the year, we were doing a deal where if you opened up a new card, a new store card, Maxwell's House of Music card, and you spent $300 the same day or anything more, you got a $100 Visa gift card from the finance company. And we did so much with that they called me and said, you've done 20 grand more than you did in 2019 in these 3 months. Yeah. How are you doing it? Yeah. And it's like, man, we're pitching it every day on Gear 30. Mm-hmm. We're pitching it to every customer. Nobody is hemorrhaging money. And so if you say, buy the guitar you want, take a year and a half to pay for it with no interest and get $100 back, it's huge. Yeah. And financing was giant for us this year. And we will take that into 2021 in a big way because these companies are willing to work with you. And if they're not willing to work with you, pick up the phone and find one, because they all are hungry for business and they're hungry for good ideas. And I mean, it made a huge difference for us. Our line was crazy.
Hey, do you mind? Can I ask, what's the company that you work with? Because it sounds like that's something that maybe other smaller to medium-sized stores need to consider.
It's Synchrony.
Okay.
Synchrony is the one that does that with us.
Okay, yeah. Synchrony has got a lot of presence in stores, you know, from anything from TVs to washer and dryers to, I guess, to guitars.
Yeah, and it's nice because it's a familiar name to someone. If I pitched the finance option, and someone's like, I don't know, I've got so many cards, who is it through? And I said, Synchrony. They're like, oh, okay, I got my car loan through. Yeah. And I'll fill that out. And they know it's an easy company to deal with, and they don't have any runaround with stuff. So it was huge for us. Yeah,
man, I can absolutely see that. And another great way of just kind of thinking outside the box a little bit.
I mean, you know, everyone's got to do everything they can to make their business work, and it's all kinds of new challenges that none of us have expected. And musicians aren't really the greatest when it comes to change usually anyway. We kind of like things a certain way, and a lot of us are very poor at changing. My wife assures me that I'm not a good changer, and you know, I feel like I've done a lot of changing over the last year. You know, maybe she doesn't see it so much, but there's been a lot. And so this was a lot of opportunity, and you can either back away from it, or you can run into it. And that's what we did. We just ran into it. You know, while we were going through all this, we took our website, which was okay. It was a suitable website. It was fine, but it wasn't doing anything for us. And 3 of us here in the store who had never done a website built a new website, and it did great for us. And now we're in the process of looking at it and going, okay, so this worked out great and this didn't. So now we're updating the website again because we've got 6-8 months of performance on it. And where did it not excel and where did it excel? And so now we're tweaking it again.
Man, I'm actually on your website right now and I'm checking it out. I'm looking through it as you're talking. And man, I just kind of ran across this brand that you guys have on there on the website. Maybe you need to tell me a little bit about it. It's called Nashville Guitar Works.
So we had this guy come into the store. He had an overcoat and he had a whole bunch of watches hanging off the inside. And I didn't know. He did say he had a guitar in the car.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. So some friends of mine in Nashville.
Interesting.
Interesting.
In Nashville. Yeah.
In Nashville. Reached out to me and said they were going to be doing a guitar line. And would I be interested in hearing about it? And I said, man, I would totally. So I kind of got the rundown from this guy, and he's telling me that the guitar line is going to be called Nashville Guitar Works, and that it's not open to the public yet. You can't see any of the website or anything. But as he's telling me about this, I'm typing online, NashvilleGuitarWorks.com. And so here comes the website, but it's password protected.
Yeah.
So I think, you know what? I bet I can guess the password. And I type it in, and here we are. And so on the phone call, this guy's telling me, so we're going to have 3 models. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I like this model. And he's like, what? And I'm like, oh, I like this. He's like, I don't understand. I'm like, I'm looking at the website right now.
Hey,
he goes,
man.
how?
Yeah.
Protected site.
Yeah. Hey, man,
But-
cybersecurity is not my strength in life. Okay.
Oh, believe me, that's why I've got Rachel here right now. I didn't even know how to do this. So I thought the guitars looked really great.
Yeah.
When I was in Dallas, we did some direct importing, and the guitars were very, very below average, in my opinion. So we did the Nashville Guitar Works guitars, and there was suggested pricing from you guys, and I chose to ignore that, and I marked them up. And I think that you were underselling the value of them because you knew what they were and where you got them and what you paid for them. And so we get them in, sell a ton. Everyone loves them. They're great guitars. They look great, and they sound and play great. Most importantly to me, it's something I can stand behind and make great margin on. I am all about margin. I don't care what brand it is. If it's the greatest brand in the world and I can only make 10 or 12 points on it, I don't care about selling it. It's a waste of my time. Go buy it anywhere else. I'm going to try to sell something that pays the bills and gets everyone here paid. And there's plenty of product to do that. So Nashville Guitar Works is one of them. You don't even know this yet, but I did this giant order of Nashville Guitar Works, and we are doing a class right now where for $199 you get a Nashville Guitar Works guitar with the gig bag and 2 50-minute lessons. It's called Guitar in 100 Minutes, and we're signed up with people, and they're all getting this guitar that they've never heard of and play and love. And then we're going to do a live show with them, and they're going to play their song that they're learning.
Dude.
And everyone's going to have cool Nashville Guitar Works guitars.
Dude,
how cool is that?
That is killer, man. Are you kidding me?
But I can only do that because I've got this great brand that A, is a good quality instrument. It's a real good quality instrument. And B, I can make enough margin in that I can do this, pay a teacher for the time, and still make some money. And it's easy to buy lots of brands of stuff out there that you have lousy margin on.
Yeah.
I just don't do that.
Yeah.
I want to make money, and I want to be successful.
Yeah. Oh, no. Man, and everything you just said is great. Man, that's it hits me deep into my heart. So, man, I appreciate that, and we all do appreciate that. And
of course, but you all do great work.
Nashville Guitar Works is something that the team here put a lot of time and effort into, and it's expanding too. So, we're supposed to be getting, we've got Strats, Tellys, P basses, and jazz basses will be heading sometime within the next week or so. So we're expanding the line, and man, it's great that you adopted it, man. We appreciate that more than you would know. So,
yeah, I mean, it's easy to get behind a great product. It's a drag to get a product in and have it let you down, and this has not done that at all.
Yeah. Okay, very cool. Man, but you guys have spent a lot of time on different brands, getting a lot of different brands in. I mean, I'm not asking you to, say one's better than another, but man, I don't know. I talk to a lot of store owners that they might focus on, oh, this is my main brand. Here's a couple sub brands. And then that's all they do. You guys have a little bit of a different approach. Tell me how that's working.
We definitely don't do that because early on when I was selling, it was 100% commission. So whether I liked something or not was irrelevant to me. I wanted to sell as much as possible because that got me the biggest paycheck.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we think about here. We're not a commission store. I didn't want to do that because then it's not me trying to snipe somebody else or them trying to snipe me. It's all serve the customer. So the way we buy brands here is we'll buy Fender and Gibson and everyone else. We also buy Tanglewood and Gretsch and Yamaha.
Great
we buy
brands.
all these different brands because maybe you have a Les Paul, and maybe you have a Strat, and maybe you have a Martin. Okay, do you have a transacoustic Yamaha? Do you have a Tim Armstrong Gretsch? You know, this is something you might not see. It's certainly something you don't see everywhere you go. If I go out to our local stores to see my friends, what I don't see is a great selection. What I see is 80% one brand and then a little bit of some other stuff.
Yeah.
And to me, the only way we're going to be successful is by offering a good selection of a lot of stuff. And that's, you know, that kind of goes back to, I wish that us as dealers would hold vendors more accountable, because like the big box stores get to order whatever they want. They don't have to buy everything. If they break the rules, nothing happens. If they file bankruptcy, they still sell them stuff again the next day. And, you know, guys like us, independent stores, we don't have that luxury. We'll get strong-armed by somebody, and I'll turn them down. I got no interest in it. I've turned down so many brands that we thought would be good here because they say, well, you have to do this. No, man, it's 2020. You're fighting for airspace on anything. If you tell me I have to do this, I'm not going to, because I'm going to buy what I want, because it's all about serving this store, not serving that company. If I worked for that company, that'd be a different deal. But I work for this company. Yeah. I want our customers to have a great selection. If I can't cherry pick or work out an arrangement where I'm not stuck spending $100,000 to buy into something, then I just don't do it. There's plenty of product out there. No one gets to hold us up. And you just shouldn't. These companies should be embarrassed doing this stuff to stores, because stores are going away, and they're going away because they've got 40 guitars on the wall of one brand and 3 other things, and that's it. Yeah. It's not right.
Yeah, no, and it's the same. Even to bring up the analogy like you did earlier with Walmart, it's like, you know, Walmart doesn't carry one type of anything, food, clothing, anything. They carry a variety of things because they realize they need to reach a wide variety of shoppers.
Yeah, you know, that's Amazon. Every day,
it's 101.
When I come home down my street, I see boxes on people's steps and porches. It's because Amazon is letting them buy whatever they want and getting it delivered. Well, hopefully people aren't going to follow that path all the way through and run all the music stores out of business, because it's going to be tough. But right now, we're doing really well, and we're showing a lot of musical instruments to people who are experienced and who have never played before. And that's great. And these stores like us, you know, I mean, if somebody gets in their car and drives to your store and parks in the parking lot and walks in the front door, they want to buy something.
Yeah, they do.
Maybe not that, but they've got a dream. And if the sales staff is too busy on their phone to say anything more than, hey, how you doing? You know, if you need any help, let me know. My God, kick him out the door. What are you doing?
Yeah.
That guy drove his car to your place.
Yeah.
Stand up, introduce yourself. Have you ever been here before? Make them feel special. The more they feel special, the more they're going to come back in every time they need something.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And to be honest with you, I know you plugged NGW for us, but I'm going to plug MIRC. MIRC is one of our strengths is we can bring a variety of brands to music stores and even e-commerce online people. And that's that's a strength. You know, you can place an order of guitars and get 5 different brands. That's what we can do. Kind of help kind of facilitate that in music stores. And you guys adopted that a long time ago.
But see, you're a great example of this, because when I call you, I'm like, all right, I'm looking for guitars in this range, or I'm looking for this kind of guitar. And you'll tell me. And then I'll say, what do you got that's weird? And you'll say, oh, man. Or you'll just call me out of the blue. Dude, I just got this crazy weird thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's because you know. So because we have a relationship, you're looking out for me. And that's missing online. That people don't have that. And I don't expect everyone to realize it at once. That's okay. But a good salesperson is something that's very special, because they're not just taking your money. They're making you happy. When I bought my White Falcon from you, I didn't care how much it was. You didn't even have a bridge for it. And I said, no, just throw one of these bridges on it. Dude, I play it all the time. Are you kidding me? That's great.
Yeah, it's a great looking guitar too.
They just forget that. It's so easy to hit click. But half of the fun of especially being a musician is talking to another musician and going, what chord was that you just played? Oh, that's how I put it this way instead. Man, that's fun.
Yeah.
We're all a bunch of weirdos. We get to hang out together for a little bit. That's great.
Hey, so do you think 2021's a good year to start a music store?
You know what? I think 2021 is a good year to start music. And I think if you're someone who has a business plan, you could start a music store and do well. If you're a bunch of musicians who have a little money and you find a place to rent, I think it's going to be very hard, because you can't just do that now. You don't know what's going to happen. But if you have a business plan, I think you could do well. People are ready for entertainment. They're busting at the seams for movies and concerts and activity. And I think we're going to have a little slow start this year. And I think by the time summer gets here, you're going to be tripping over events.
Yeah.
You want to know what to do, because everyone's going to want to be on the road playing music. Everyone's going to want to be outside with their family, enjoying each other. And it's going to happen in a big way. You know, no matter what, COVID is here and it's going to be here. Just like every other crazy thing that we've encountered and dealt with as a world, we will deal with this.
Yeah, we can adapt.
It'll be good, and whatever it is, we will adapt to it, because we are just unstoppable as a people. We're going to adapt, and it'll take a little time, and it's tough. I feel so sorry for these kids that are stuck learning on their computers and having no interaction. I'm okay to sit in a room all day by myself, reading a book, playing with my dogs and my guitar. That's great. My daughter, not the same way. She needs to be out. She needs to be talking and doing, and it's going to be tough. It's been so hard for these kids to have been through this, and we have so many opportunities for people that are not lonely, but lonely for a sense of community. All of our stores can do it. All of our stores can do something to make the people in our community feel great and help them remember why music is so important.
Yeah, and you guys actually have a venue there. In your,
we have two venues here and an outside venue. Both of the rooms are 4-camera live stream. So we had a Showtime comedy special filmed here 2 weeks ago. We've done all kinds of concerts. We've had charity events. We are all over reaching out. And just like we do all these church and school installs where there's video and live streaming involved, we're doing it here on site. So if you have a band and you want to do something, you come in here, you rent the room, we set it all up, and you're doing a 4-camera live stream that looks great. The city of Louisville usually does this big concert at the end of the year, Light of Louisville, and they didn't have it this year. But they did rent a room out and load it up with bands, and we filmed it. And it was great. You know, there's a lot you can do. We kind of get locked up in ourselves sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. So what would you say to somebody that they're listening to this going, maybe I should concentrate on having events at my store this year? What would you suggest to them, or what advice would you give them?
Have a plan. Before you do anything, have a plan. Before you order your guitars, who are you going to sell them to? How are you going to sell them? Who wants them? Before you have an event at your store, how are you going to market it? Who's going to find out about it? Why are they going to want to come? If you just have an event and put it on your calendar, don't expect success. Have a plan to make it special, so when they show up, they want to be there, they want to talk about it, and they want to come back again. It's all about the plan, if you ask me. We can all do great things. Music stores and musicians aren't great planners usually. And if you're not going to put together your business plan, I think you're going to have a tough time.
And I would say this year might be a little bit easier than other years. If thing releases and you know, this 2021 turns out to be a good year, COVID kind of comes under control, I think events are going to go through the roof. And maybe it might even spawn Guitar Heroes again, because people are excited and they're going to enjoy the events and take them in. And I think it'll be a good year.
Just keep looking at the movies. They keep pushing the movies back because of the theaters not being open yet. So you're going to see an idea of when they really think things are going to happen, because they can't put out a James Bond movie that makes, $10 million. It's got to make $200 million. So if they think they're going to put it back until April or whatever it is, then everyone thinks it's going to be done then, and there's going to be a lot happening. Just have a plan and do it, because once the gates open, then you're going to be in a sea. Then all of a sudden, instead of being the big fish in the swimming pool, you're a guppy in an ocean.
Yeah.
Have a plan so that you stand out.
Yeah, no, it's the same thing. I can kind of see it almost happening over again. Back in March and April last year in 2020, you know what I mean? If you weren't selling online, you got left behind.
Yeah.
And people were scrounging and scratching and clawing to try to get to a position where they should have been already. And this is another opportunity where music stores have kind of got to be thinking about this going into the summer or even into the fall, that events are maybe a great way to capitalize on people wanting to get out again. So
you're not wrong.
Not wrong. Hey, so man, this has been a great conversation, man. If anything else you want to cover, man, 8-inch Elvis, man, tell us a little bit about that and how that kind of ties your whole musical life together.
Yeah, so I started 8-inch Elvis about 23 years ago, and I actually did a family tree of all the members, and it's like 50 people at this point. It's insane. But you know, for the last 4 years, or last 4 years, we've been kind of a rockabilly show band type of thing, and it's been the greatest. It's been the most fun I've ever had playing music. It pays incredibly well. It is a blast. We're a 5-piece band, unless you want more. Then we're a 7 or 9-piece band. We've done shows where we had 9 singers and musicians on stage and 25 horns. We'll bring our whole thing out, and it's a blast. It is just so much fun, and I love it. I get to do something that I love, and I've been playing music forever, and I've often played songs I don't love, and I don't care. I want to play in front of people, so it's 3 minutes. I can get through this song. That's fine. Yeah. So I want to run around and have a good time, but boy, in this band, I get to have the greatest time I ever had, and I love it.
Yeah, man. People just need to check out the website or check out. I mean, you've got some videos out, got an album out.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I remember when Mark he put out their CD for the Louisville Crashers, and he sent me a CD in the mail, and it was so funny because I took a picture of it, put my coffee cup on it, and I said, "Man, Mark, thanks. This CD's great. Appreciate it." Yeah. It was but anyways, that was good. That was back when they had CDs. I don't even know if they have CDs anymore. So
they do. It's funny because we wanted to put out a physical product. Yeah. Everyone just goes right to streaming now, and I mean, that's not me. I want the magic of a cover. Sure. Our CD looks like an album. It's a cover that's full of pictures and credits. The CD looks cool. That's what we wanted. And we'll do vinyl mid-year. And, we'll eventually go on to the streaming sites. But I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing this because as a kid, I knew what I love about all these bands that I love, because I read the albums, and that's what we did. So our CD is fun, and the videos that we have are visual and fun, and that's all this is about, having a great time.
Absolutely. And I just remember even just you're listening to music, you have the jacket open, you're reading the words, you're looking at the pictures, and you feel like you're a part of the experience. Something that kind of disappeared over the years. So
it does, but for me, it's still part of the fun. So I still buy vinyl, and I still read CD credits. I've never downloaded a song. I don't own a computer. I want to read the book. I want to read the liner notes. I love that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm all.
Man, Mike, you are such a good friend of ours, man. We appreciate you a ton. We love your store. We love everything about what you guys do and stand for, and just your work ethic. I mean, everything about what you do, we just think is a great example that most people should at least be, taking something from. So thanks in investing in us. We'll continue to invest in you guys. And man, thanks for just being good friends. So.
You bet, man. Thanks for all you guys do. Have a great one. Thanks for letting me talk today.
Yeah, you bet, man. Hey, have a great day.
The Music Retail Show is brought to you by MIRC LLC, providing solutions for the musical instrument community by being a reliable source for diverse music products. If you need inventory for your music store, pawn shop, or e-commerce site, go to mircweb.com to find out more.